Welcome to today's video. In this video, I'm going to continue looking at square roots and cube roots. So in today's video, I'm going to look at square roots. So in this video, I'm going to describe what square roots are, and I'm going to show how you can write a square root as well as how you can find a square root. So watch this video up to the end as I'm going to share with you the things I've mentioned. With that being said, let's get into today's lesson. So let me start by describing a square root. So a square root of a number is the number you multiply by itself in order to get that number. Okay, a square root of a number is the number that you multiply by itself in order to get that number. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is if I want to find a square root, maybe I have to of a number, I have to find a number that can be multiplied by itself in order to get that number. If I want to find a square root of 4, I need to find a number that I can multiply by itself in order to get 4. If I find that number that I can multiply by itself to get the answer, which is 4, that means that number is a square root of 4. Okay? So for example, if I multiply 5 by 5, it will give me 25. Therefore, you can say 5 is the square root of 25. So 5 is the square root of 25. That's what that definition means there on top. Okay? So we can write 5 as a square root of 25 like this. So we can write, I'm using 5 as an example. It can be any number. It can be 6, it can be 4, it can be 3. So when you are writing 3 as a square root of 9, now in this case we are writing 5 as a square root of 25, we write it like that, which is the square root sign, then 25 inside the square root sign. That is now the square root of 25, which is 5. Now we are writing 5 as a square root of 25 in that way, a square root sign, and inside the square root sign 25. Okay, now let's find square roots of numbers. So I have got 2 questions here, and the instruction is find the square roots of the following number. It should be write the square roots, find the square roots of the following number, not 20 numbers. It's find the square roots of the following numbers. Okay, so we have got 1 there, which is 16, 2, 36. So I'm going to write that 16, then I'm going to write the square root sign, then 16 inside. Okay, because we want to find the square root of 16. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to express 16 as a product of prime numbers. I want to express 16 as a product of prime numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the factors of 16 first. When I find the factors of 16, I'm going to pick the second smallest factor. Why I'm saying the second smallest, I want to leave out 1, because when I divide 16 by 1, it will give me 16. So I'm going to use the second smallest factor of 16, which is 2. Okay, if you don't know what a factor is, you can check on our videos. We have got a video where we talked extensively on factors, and let me just brief you what a factor is. So a factor of a number is a number that divides exactly in that number. A factor of a number is a number that divides exactly in that number. Okay, so that is a factor. So which means we're going to find a number that can go into 8 and give us an answer which is a whole number. Okay, so we are going to use 2, like I said earlier on. We're going to use 2 So 2, I'm going to write 2 there in advance. Then I'm going to ask myself to say, how many times can 2 go into 16? It will go 8 times. So I'm going to multiply 2 by 8 times. Now when you look at 2 multiplied by 8 will give us 16. So it's just the same as the 16 on top. Okay. Then I'm going to also find the factor of 8, the factors of 8, and then I'm going to pick the second smallest factor. So in this case we are talking about, because 8 has got factors which are 1, 2, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 4, and 8 itself. So I'm going to pick 2 is the second smallest number or factor. Then I'm going to multiply it by how many times it goes into 8. So I'm going to write 2 first. Then I'm going to pick the second smallest factor of 8, which is 2. I'm going to multiply 2 by 2. Then I'm going to ask myself to say, how many times can 2 go into 8? It will go 4 times. So I'm going to put times 4 at the end there. Okay, once I've done that, then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the factors of 4. Then I'm going to pick the second smallest factor. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite the 2 2's which we have written already, that is those 2's. Then I'm going to ask myself, what is the smallest factor or the second smallest factor of 4, which is 2. So I'm going to multiply it by 2. Then how many times can 2 go into 4? It will go 2 times. So I'm going to multiply by 2. Okay, now if we look at this number, when we ask ourselves to say 2 which is at the end, what is the second smallest factor that can go into 2? You find that it's 2. And when you divide 2 by 2, it will go 1 time. So it will be like rotating. Okay, so now since we have gotten 2 as that is the lowest factor we can use, then there is no way we can further divide 2 by another 2. So that means our number is done. And the other thing you can look for is you check whether there is a number in this expression which is not a prime number. Now when you look at this expression, we have got 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2. As you can see, 2 is a prime number. It just has 2 factors. That means we have expressed 16 as a product of prime factors. So since 2 is a prime factors and this expression is consists of prime 2's alone, that means we have expressed 16 as a product of prime factors. So once we have done that, then what we're going to do is we're going to group these numbers with these four 2's in 2 groups, because we are looking for a square root. We're going to put them in 2 groups, 2 identical groups, or 2 groups that can give us an equal product. Okay, 2 groups that can give us the same product. So I'm going to group them into 2 groups. So I'm going to group them like this. So when I put 2 times 2 give us 4, 2 times 2 give us 4. So these groups are identical. They can give us the same product. Once I've done that, then I'm going to multiply them. 2 by 2 give us 4. Okay, and 2 by 2 give us 4. So now I've come up with 4 by 4. So we want to find the square root. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the square root sign. Once I remove the square root sign, and I'm just going to pick 4. Okay, so since I'm multiplying, I'm going to remove the square root sign, and also I'm going to get rid of 4 and remain with 4. So I'm going to write like this, 4. Then that is our square root. So the square root of 16 is 4. Okay, this method is very helpful, more especially when you're dealing with bigger numbers. Okay, so the square root of 16 is 4. That's the answer. Okay, so now let's go to question 2, which is 36. So I'm going to write 36, then I'm going to put 36 in the square root sign. Once I've done that, then I'm going to do the same thing I did. I'm going to look for the second smallest factor of 36, which is 2. So 2 can go into 36. So I'm going to write 2. Then how many times can 2 go into 36? 18 times. So I'm going to multiply 2 multiplied by 18. Okay, remember you don't have to leave out the square root sign, should go on until the end. Okay, then once I've done that, I'm going to find the second smallest common factor of 18, which is 2. So I'm going to write 2 first, then I'm going also to multiply by 2. Why? Because 2 is the second smallest factor of 18. So I'm going to write multiplied by 2. Then I'm going to ask myself, how many times can 2 go into 18? It will go 9 times. So I'm going to multiply by 9. Then once I've done that, I'm going to rewrite 2 multiplied by 2. Once I've done that, then I'm going to ask myself to say, what is the second smallest factor of 9? We have got 9 has got factors which are 1, 3, and 9 itself. It has 3 factors. So the second smallest is 3. Okay, so I'm going to use 3. So I'm going to multiply by 3. Then how many times can 3 go into 9? It will go 3 times. So I'm going to multiply by 3 again. Okay, once I've done that, then I'm going to look at the 3 which is at the end. If we look at 3, 3 is a prime number. So as you can see, the whole entire expression has been formed by prime numbers. Okay, numbers with 2 factors. If we look at 3, the numbers that can go into 3 is 1 and 3 itself. There is no other number. So that means we have expressed 36 as a product of prime numbers or prime factors. Okay, once we have done that, then now we are going to group these numbers, which is 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3, into 2 identical groups. Why 2 identical groups? Because we want to find a square root. Okay, because we want to find the square root, we're going to put them into 2 identical groups, or in 2 groups that will give us the same product when we multiply them. So we're going to write 2 multiplied by 3 as well as multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3. Okay, when you multiply these numbers in brackets, they'll give you the same answer. So let's try. 2 multiplied by 3 will give us 6. Then multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3 will give us 6. So we're going to have 6 times 6. Okay, now I'm going to remove the square root, and then I'm also going to get rid of 1 6. That means I will remain with 1 6 there. Then 6 will be our answer, and 6 is the square root of 36. So basically, this is how you find the square root of given numbers. If you have got questions, you can ask them in the comment section. Otherwise, this is what I had for you today. Thank you so much for watching. It has been easy learning Z Mathematics. The future is bright. See you in the next video, and God bless you.